Today we're going to be looking at conspiracy theories and why they exist. To some, conspiracy theories are just accountability for those in power with the potential for abuse. So let's make a timeline of events that were once deemed conspiracies that were later declassified or talked about in public hearings. You can see an obvious pattern on when these conspiracies or events happened and then when they were later found out by the public. You can see there's about a 20-30 year gap. So who's to say these events don't happen today and we just don't know about them yet? So let's look at some of these unethical events and abuse by those in power that the public back then and even the public today still don't know about. Be on the lookout for future videos where we dive deep on each one of these topics. The Tuskegee study was operated by the CDC for nearly 40 years, where black participants who had syphilis thought they were being treated, but actually weren't. The participants became human guinea pigs. Penicillin had become the treatment of choice for syphilis and was readily available, but instead of treating these individuals, they didn't just to see the outcome of the disease. These people trusted their government and they were lied to, and people died because of it. Project MKUltra was an illegal human experiment performed by the CIA to develop procedures and identify drugs such as LSD that could be used in interrogations to weaken individuals and force confessions through brainwashing and psychological torture. Yes, you heard me right. Operation Mockingbird, which could still be going on today.
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
The CIA basically infiltrates media and entertainment organizations in order to influence the public. This tactic is used to control the narrative, which in turn controls the people. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation by the CIA against the American citizens. The proposal would have had the CIA operatives both stage and commit acts of terrorism against American military and civilian targets, blaming it on Cuban government in order to go to war with Cuba. This operation would have actually killed American civilians in order to go to war. Think about that. The Gulf of Tonkin incident was another false flag between the North Vietnamese and the destroyer USS Maddox. This alleged attack on the US destroyer is what led to the Vietnam War. It was later found out that the attack never happened. Another false flag in order to get the American people on board to go to war. In a 2003 documentary, The Fog of War, the former United States Secretary of Defense admitted that the attack on the USS Maddox never happened. This is what led America to war in Vietnam. Now enter into the picture Alex Jones, who has been banned off of all major platforms, deemed a conspiracy theorist. Knowing what we have found out from the past, let's try not to repeat it. How many times did the government say one thing, then we later found out another? How are we able to hold these politicians accountable if we don't seek the truth? Now let's apply what we found out with the past, with the US engaging in false flag incidents and propaganda in order to get us to go to war.
The scenes were something out of Dante's Inferno, and it's still ongoing. More than 10 miles of flame in downtown Kiev, the capital city of the Ukraine, the battleground between the Anglo-American New World Order and the collapsed former Soviet attempted world order. The CIA, that is the criminal elements of it, controlled by the globalist and George Soros, are over there involved in this to take down the final piece up to the wall with Russia to start a new Cold War. Global research, American conquest by subversion. Victoria Newlands admits Washington has spent $5 billion to subvert Ukraine. That's a quote. They could start a war tomorrow with the Russian border territory, a demilitarized zone. They've got a bunch of those. And we'd have nuclear war, and we'd always be told the Russians did it. The smart money is on a war with China. And I don't want a war, but we're looking at a giant war in February right now.